I personally think when you start getting too technical on detail of vehicles, people quit listening.
Yeah.
I think it's more about entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anybody that's listening to a podcast to learn how to rebuild a LS3. You know what I mean? They're more just the entertainment, the shop talk. Like, that's what I'm attracted to anyways. I'll sit there and listen to like the roadster shop stuff. I'll listen to that. Mostly because of the parallels I see with my shop, you know, like they all got the fucking one guy that's always late to work, and you know, not him, well, like something they were talking about the other day where you do all the sheet metal work on a fender and you test fit it, you pin it, it's fucking good, and it goes to the body shop and it comes out, and for some reason it's a half-inch longer and fucking won't go back on the truck. And you're like, what the fuck?
So every time
I listen to that, and just more of that shop talk kind of entertains me. Just things people can relate to. So I don't know how technical you'd want to get on the trucks. I'm going to talk about the trucks, but I'm just saying
the same level. If I was when I listen to them or something like that, I'm more curious as to what are these guys like? Kind of like we were talking about before while we were setting up. What are these guys like? You know, I mean, is this you never? How do these guys interact with people? Or and that's what I like doing about that stuff is that, you know, you get to, when I watch these shows or listen to some of these podcasts and stuff, I get to listen to like the real person and the guy that's coming out, not just, you know, what you see on TV or what somebody's perception of somebody is.
And I think, like I said, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your podcast, but I think since it's your first one, y'all might consider like, what is your target audience? Because like, we've tried to figure that out with like our YouTube, and it's like, man, are we trying to target customers? Then that's one type of content. Are we trying to attract just followers because they just like to see chaos and shit, you know, like a Cletus video, you know, I mean, they're doing burnouts in golf carts and shit like that. Well, that's attracting followers, but not customers, you know what I mean? So I don't know what y'all are trying to attract to people coming to your show. But
if speaking on like about YouTube stuff, I would say that you should do whatever you think looks cool. Because obviously you have a good knack for knowing what people like as far as classic trucks go, and that's going to be your audience. And if you just put up cool stuff, I have this, I could talk forever on this stuff, but like there's clickbaity stuff that people just, it's like a method of which like every minute and a half you have a reason, like a cliffhanger to keep them watching.
Right.
I've never watched something, honest to God, I'm like, I'm not doing this game. I'll either you show me what I clicked on by the thumbnail or I'm moving on.
Like for part 2?
Right, yeah, no, you'll never get me to part 2.
That shit drives me nuts.
Yeah, unless it's something crazy, like I'm very interested in it, then I'm not looking for part 2. And I also don't think that short videos do better than long form. Like if you guys just rattled off, I swear education sells. Like if you know a topic and like you can just like you guys know about the dude, the kid from Woodward?
Chris Stewart?
No.
He's actually
Speed Bump Garage. Speed Bump Garage. His name's Jack. His dad and him started a channel, and like this kid he off the cuff, he knows exactly what the hell he's looking at, what year it is. I think that stuff sells because people just, even if they don't know what you're talking about, you sound like you know what you're talking about.
It's the credibility factor. That's actually something we started working on our YouTube about last year. Remember, I was like, hey man, there's a disconnect between us and customers on this entire process. Like customers just think, oh shit, I can take my truck down there and have it done just like Mako. You know, they'll scuff it and shoot it. You know, I get phone calls, how much for a scuff and shoot? I'm like, well, we don't do that.
Or the biggest one is, how come this shop will do it for $30,000 and how come this shop will do it for $130,000? What exactly is the difference here?
Yeah, so we started kind of documenting that on our YouTube, like, hey, there's a disconnect here. There's a process we use, and then we started kind of rolling that into our YouTube channel, not to, I guess not necessarily to hate on people, but just to show them that there's more of a process than we pulled it in the body shop and scuffed it with a DA and shot it.
Yeah,
like, that's
and that's
not how
what
we do it.
And that's, unfortunately, that's what, you know, because we see stuff like that all the time. We just got done working on a truck, and it was a beautiful truck. Would have shown great at the show. I mean, beautiful truck. But if you get up on it and you're trained and you know what you're looking at, you know, there's some things going on with it. Well, that's the kind of stuff that, do we point out? But then the guy that actually owns the truck, is he upset or butthurt because we just hurt his feelings on the truck? Not to knock the truck, because it's a beautiful truck, and it was every bit of a 6-figure truck. But it was just, there's different levels or different tiers or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And a lot of just the guy that, doesn't know or anything like that, and that's just it. He doesn't know. He's going in and he's thinking that, like Mickey said, that I'm not understanding, why it's this and why it's that, and how come these people are doing this and this, but they're saying they're doing the same thing, and it can get pretty complex, and we don't want to go into where we're feeling like we're hating on somebody's truck or hating on another shop or something like that, because we all have our own goals, and
even like if people ask me about how much I would charge for like a specific project to shoot, I'll more often than not I go, well, this person said they do it for, it's a fraction of the price, and I don't think I'm that expensive. I could probably shoot a commercial for most businesses in the metro for under $2,000.
No.
Give you a month of stuff to use if you take the initiative. It's a whole other price if you want me to do it for you, but like. You have your assets at your disposal, and they'll be like, well, this person said they do it. It's like I said, it could be like a fifth of the price. Sounds like I'm trying to pull like reverse psychology. I'm like, I want you to try them. I'm not being passive aggressive. I'm not being snarky. I genuinely want you to try them. If they work out, like, you hold on to them, because that's really affordable. But if you end up getting something that you are not pumped on or proud of, come see me. And like,
sometimes that don't work for us, because then we get up to fix what they messed up. And
I'll say most of our work, almost all of it, is a customer that went somewhere else, got their shit wrecked, and then came to us to fix it all.
Even more.
And then it's like, it's hard to pick up there because they've already been burned. Yeah. The project's already snowballed.
They're already $100,000
Now we got to go backwards.
In.
Yeah. So it's not too often do we catch the first time customer. Which that has its own, like sometimes it's like, man, if I could.
Now you think with your reputation and everything, that doesn't do you any good?
No, it all comes down to the mighty dollar. I mean, no matter what. That's one thing we've learned is there's no loyalty in this industry. Yeah. It's very rare. I have a few customers
that'll stick around because they know that you're going to do it right.
Yeah, but for the most part, they're always going to take the cheapest route first and then learn their lesson the hard way, and then unfortunately feel like they are going to get a discount coming here now because they've already spent, I've already spent 20 grand on body work, right. So you should fix it for something. Well, I'm not the one that did that. Right. I'm not liable for that. We're starting over.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to start counting them off, but there's several in here right now that came from other shops that they've already been burned, and they'll do it again and again and again. And then we just always come back and pick up the pieces and try to make the best of it.
Salvaging other people's shots sucks. So I kind of get. The fabrication stuff that you're doing. Like, I was here last time. Was it 2 years ago? I
think so.
Are your frames and chassis still the same design, or are you changing stuff up? Or?
We've made a few upgrades, but not anything major. Yeah. Like, it's definitely recognizable. We found an easier process for different types of the production stages that make it quicker and easier. But that's about it.
Do you? What's the most expensive truck that you've left here? Don't tell me the customer, obviously, but how much do you think that they had in it?
We've got a truck that's probably over 400,000, but I don't know the exact number on it. I haven't really looked it up.
Yeah.
So
it scares me when I think about it.
Yeah.
That's
to buy a house.
That's something that I try to kind of beat into my employees. Is that I know we're not working on Lambos here, but if you were to pull a Lambo in here and take the wheel off, how careful are you going to be with the lug wrench and the socket, or are you just going to go grab your impact, just zip it off there and let the lug nut fly?
Take your Lambo to Hibdon's,
Yeah, you're not doing that shit. So we can't do that either. Like, the vehicles we're working on cost just as much, even though it doesn't have the Lambo name. So I try to kind of beat that into my employees, like, treat this thing like it's a brand new Lambo, because it's the same price when it's done. We can't be just throwing their shit around, like it's an old work truck.
Right. So what made you, how long have you been doing this, and what made you like dive headfirst into doing these custom chassis for specific, tell me what year they're specific to and why that style truck?
Okay, so a little backstory. I've been building race cars for, I think, about 18 years. So the name of my shop was Mickey's Chassis Works, and I've done it at the highest level. I've built some really badass shit. And I basically sat down one year and was looking over my books, and I was billing about 80% of the labor hours in my shop myself, and I had multiple employees. I mean, at one time, like up to 5. And so I'm going, man, this ain't right. You know, like I can't keep doing this. I've got to change my business model to where I'm billing less hours and everybody else is billing more. You know what I mean? I need to be able to utilize my employees. But the way we were doing it with these custom race cars, everyone was different, you know, so you'd have to have the engineering mindset to just walk up to a car, design the whole thing inside and out, and think of every obstacle, every gas pedal, every shifter mount, every piece of the roll cage, safety equipment. And there was just so many boxes to check. I mean, these things gotta be safe at 250 miles an hour. They gotta be super lightweight. They have to look cool, you know, they have to function, you know, they can't just be an item at a show. Like this chassis has to function and perform, and then it has to have longevity, because these guys race the crap out of these cars and they take a beating, you know. So there's so many boxes to check when building a high-end race car, you know. I mean, you can build a bracket car and get away with a lot, but the level at which we were building them at, there's just a lot of boxes to check, and it made it very difficult to be able to hire the type of people that you need to grow a business like that. You know what I mean? It was such a niche business that it wasn't expandable. So I was like, man, I really am at a point in time where I want to grow the business bigger, and I don't think it's a good business model to do that. So I started looking into, like, how could I pivot what we're already doing into another business that can expand. So like, I could have came in here and just cleared it all out and started growing weed or something, but like I didn't want to do something like that. I wanted to just pivot from what we were already doing, the equipment we got, the experience we already got, just make it easier. So I thought, okay, I want to do, basically I looked over some businesses that had, and even in the race car industry, there's like Tim McCamus race cars. They basically focused on like 3 to 5 different cars. Then they got really good at building those for 20 something years. And then even today you can call and order a rear end housing for one of those cars that was built 20 years ago, and it was still built on the same fixture and the same jig. So you can just order it now. So in other words, all of the things that he's building over the last 20 years, he can just keep reselling, and it's all built out of the same fixture, which also helps with his quality control and his whole process, because he can hire a new guy and they're building the same part of the same fixture as the last guy, you know. So I was thinking I want something similar to that, but I kind of want out of the race car thing. There was a couple of things on my mind. With the race cars, I felt like there's a mass exodus from the racing industry, because it's gotten to a level where if you're not a multi-millionaire, you can't compete. I mean, I'll tell you, I showed up, it was over 10 years ago, I built myself a race car, and I guess my experience and knowledge was pretty advanced for its time as far as the way we built the car. And we went to the Super Bowl of drag racing. It's called Lights Out, and it's in South Georgia, in Adel, Georgia. And this is like the Super Bowl for drag racing. So we go there for our first race. It's the first time I've ever brought the car out. And during qualifying, we broke a record with the car. And I felt so awesome. You know, we get back to the pits, we're like, hell yeah, we're high-fiving all this stuff. But I look around and I'm like, dude, I built my car with leftover parts from customers, okay? All the spare parts we brought with us belonged to another guy that worked with me, a friend of mine that worked with me. I'm in a borrowed truck and a borrowed trailer, and we just broke our class record that had been, I think, 6 to 8 years of a standing record, and we just broke it. And we're still the poorest people here, right? And so I had to come back from that and think, man, I'm parked between guys with $400,000 trailers, 3 or 4 spare engines. Like, I'm not going to be able to stay competitive in this industry. Like, I came out and I made a good showing, but I'm not going to be able to sustain this. These guys got 6-man crews, and I mean, that's all they do full time is race. So to make a long story short, I ended up selling my car and putting the money back into the business. And I watched that industry kind of turn into, like, if you're not a multimillionaire that can do it full time, you're not going to be able to compete. Well, then on the other side of the coin, I'm looking at the show car industry, or, the high-end show trucks, and I'm going, man, it's kind of the same way. Like, people are building trucks and cars that are, over $1 million, whether they like to admit it or not. I know they're spending over $1 million on some of these builds in the show car deal, like the indoor show car, Riddler and stuff like that. And you can't do nothing with them. It's like you spent all that money and you took it to a show, and now it's old news next year. Yeah. So it's like, I kind of wanted to find a middle ground. So all these guys that are tired of spending the money to compete at that level, and they're tired of spending the money to compete at this level, and they just want something badass that they can drive on the weekends, that can win some local car shows and can perform. That's kind of what turned my attention into what I'm doing with these trucks. So then I knew basically the target was a super nice vehicle that could be shown at local car shows, but it's also not so nice you're scared to drive it. But also, if you're a guy that likes the performance end of it, you can race it and be somewhat competitive at local events. You can just do more stuff with the vehicle. So then it come down to, okay, well then what's the vehicle going to be? And I was telling my wife, we were on vacation in San Diego, and I was telling her, I'm trying to figure out what this is going to be, because I want it to be something that will last. Like, if you take a vehicle that was hot for 2 years and you try to put that into a production deal, like, how long is it going to be cool,
Right.
and how many parts can you make for a vehicle that was only produced for 2 years? Like, so let's say a 04 to 05, 06 GTO. Like, I'm not wanting to build parts for that. It was only made for a couple of years. They're not that hot. I don't think that it's going to be like the next 69 Camaro or something, or the next Fox Body Mustang. So I was looking for something that's going to be that. And we were in San Diego, and this square body drove by, and my wife was like, there you go right there. And I was like, duh. Like, I drove one in high school, and I would love to have another one. Everybody I know from my age up to about 60 had one, or their grandpa had one, or, like, that is just one of those sentimental deals that everybody's going to have. But we were like 2 or 3 years ahead of it really hitting at this point. So I was like, man, I think you're right. That's it. So then I started looking into it. I'm like, well, hell, they were produced from 73 up into the 90s. We got short beds, wide beds, long beds, crew cabs, dualies, blazers. Like, the possibilities are endless.
Suburban.
So I need to pick a lane, but I need the lane to give me some variables in case something doesn't work out.
You need a highway, but with 6 lanes.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, so I think this is what it's going to be. So I bought this truck, and I bought another truck the same day, and I ended up cutting this one up and turning it into my own. But whenever I first started looking into the aftermarket parts, chassis, and stuff like that, there's a lot of good chassis out there, but they're kind of purpose built. So I didn't want to do a bagged deal because I want to be able to race my truck, but when I look at the other chassis that are more for cruising and stuff, they don't really have the geometry I would want for racing. So eventually I was like, man, the other thing is I didn't want the weight. If I'm having to depend on another chassis shop for 20 weeks to build my chassis, and I'm a nobody, I don't want to wait on it. So I thought, well, hell, I've been building chassis my whole life. Why would I go pay somebody else to build it, right? So then I started kind of drawing up the chassis deal, and I started out looking at square tube stuff, and I was just like, what am I doing? I've never built a square tube chassis. Like, back when I was in like high school Votech stuff, that's when I built square tube stuff. So I was like, I know round tube, I'm going to build it out of round tube. And then I kind of asked around what people thought about it, and everybody was like, basically, oh, you'll never be able to get the beam strength you get out of square tube and stuff like that. And I was like, I will. I'll make it stronger than that and lighter. But then you got the visual aspect of it. So I think people aren't used to seeing that. So to them, it might seem like it's not as strong or whatever. But I'll put my chassis against any square tube chassis on the market that I'm lighter and stronger. But anyway, so that's what kind of got me turned into the round tube deal, just being familiar with that type of material. And it's going to look different. So that's the other part of it is, like, we got to Dino's and we're on chassis row, and all the chassis look the same. Now, they're not. To a degree. Yeah, they're not the same. If you know what you're looking at, you can tell the differences. But to probably 90% of the population, they just see the same chassis over and over and over. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, the only way I'm going to be able to sell that is if I'm the cheapest one. Yeah. Well, you know, there's places like Scott's Hot Rods that they've been in business longer than I've been alive. The process in which they have to build those chassis, I will never be able to match that process. They've got 20, 30 years head start on me. So I thought, well, I don't want to try to step into their pool and try to build the next square tube chassis and, you know, just try to be cheaper than them.
Well, you put you in the same competition with GSI, Roadster Shop, stuff like that. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, let's just kind of put our own spot in the market and we'll make our own thing, and that's what we're going to do. So that's kind of how we rolled into the round tube chassis. And that's also the reason that we picked the square body deal, because we were figuring that was going to be the next thing, the next popular item, you know, next hot truck. It's not going to be unpopular.
All right, yeah. So I know it's a lot. Sorry.
No.
I know it's a lot.
No, and so you've been at this for 10 years, you said. You said 10 years ago you got out of racing?
No, I sold my race car 10 years ago.
10 years ago, okay. So how long when was the first, what year did you build your first chassis that went into a truck and it's still running to this day?
Well, so I built this truck in 2017, but I didn't put a chassis under it until 2023, I think. Okay. So this one's got the most miles on it. So this is the test mule right here. This one's a chromoly version. This is the only chromoly one that we built.
Really?
Reason I did mine in chromoly is because I wanted to see what the fatigue would be like on a chromoly chassis that got abused the way that I abuse it. And also, if something did fail, it's easier for me to fix it than to, you know, have it broadcasted across the internet that I screwed up. So fortunately, we haven't had any failures yet. And I think we're close to 10,000 miles or so on it. And I don't know if you've driven down our roads, but they're pretty shitty. So, so it's holding up pretty well. So
what's the difference in the chromoly and what you're using now?
So the chromoly is about 70 pounds lighter than the mild steel. And it's probably, I think they say around 17% stronger, somewhere in that range. So that's really the advantage, though, is the lightweight part of it.
Tripp was talking about airbags. Something you're thinking about?
I don't know yet. hey, I would never rule it out, but probably not for our chassis. I'll say that. Like, we have no problem working on bagged trucks. Like, we got one right over there, and I don't have no issue with bagged trucks or doing work on them. But I likely will not build a chassis for a bagged vehicle. I mean, it's been done a million times. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel on that. So to, I guess, answer your question, we'll work on bagged trucks or we'll build you a bagged truck. But as far as our chassis and our product line, as of right now, it's aimed at more of a performance, like a drag and drive type deal. Not that you have to race it, but you know, it's basically like my truck. I can take that thing anywhere I want to go. And when a race pops up, like we have one at Thunder Valley, a new class that just started called Super Street, that we're going to race my truck in, you know. So that was more the idea behind the type of truck we're building, is we could take it to a car show and it's got a nice stance, it sets well, it looks good. But it's also practical. I can drive it over speed bumps and not drag. You know, I can do whatever I want to do with it and also race it. So, so that's kind of the direction that we're building our trucks. But if you want us to build you a bagged truck, I've got no issues with that.
Yeah, I mean, and I see the point on that with the chassis that we have. Honestly, if you looked at it easy enough, we could figure something out on it. But at the same time, then it may take the performance out of it or something like that. And like he's saying, you don't want to get certain things like that crossed in. I want to do more trucks like that. That's more of my background. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
Okay. But of course, he writes the checks. I'll do whatever. I'll work on whatever truck he wants me to work on. But it's using, I guess, maybe building a chassis ourselves for a bagged truck. I mean, maybe later on, but like he said, once we start getting into stuff like that, it was just then we're competing with other shops that have way more money than us. And so we're just trying to get our little way in now. And then, I guess with that being said, some of the guys around here, I mean, we are experienced in that. I'm experienced in the paint and the body work with a lot of those old bag trucks. We've got another guy here that's very experienced. He did a lot of the carbon fiber stuff. We have a guy here that builds some of the best lowriders in Oklahoma, does all the hydraulics, frame strengthening, stuff like that. So it's like Mickey's kind of picked everybody out of all these cool industries and good industries and put us all together to do one thing. And not to kind of get off topic there a little bit, but
I was
shout out to Sergio. What up?
Serge.
So what do you guys have stuff that rolls over auction? I mean, have you seen your builds roll over?
We haven't took anything, but
no, not from this shop. No.
Yeah, we've kind of. Well, here, let me back up a little bit and kind of go over what Tripp was talking about. As far as the builds that we're looking into, I'm kind of wanting to keep it like a 80-20 deal. So it's not that I just like these kind of trucks, so that's all we're going to build. It's not anything like that. It's more about the structure of the business. So if every vehicle we build is a custom one-off vehicle every single time, there's never any kind of structure I can put into the business to actually turn a profit. So
how do you price that?
That was my issue with the race car industry, okay, is that every one we had to figure out, whatever you brought me today, now we're going to figure out how to make this work. And so the process that we're building with the square bodies is that 80% of the business is a structured build that where I can put processes in. We mount the same gas tank in every chassis every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Versus if this guy brings me an Escalade, it's one chassis. If he brings me a El Camino, another gas tank.
Yeah.
Or a Monte Carlo, it's just every time I'm having to figure out a different tank and a different way to mount it.
Yeah.
And it just eats up time. So ideally, I'd like to do 80% of our jobs are structured builds that we are used to doing, and then 20% of the time we're building something custom one-off that can be a bag deal or a SEMA truck or whatever. I'm totally cool with that.
And I would even almost do the trucks 80-20 too. We've got a procedure and a structure that every one of the time, this is what these trucks are built like. And then the other 20% of that could be like the customers involved in what color do you like? What kind of stereo do you want? What kind of wheels you want? Because a lot of the customers, that's their main thing anyway on it. And they're trusting us that they're going to get in that truck, hit the gas pedal, get paid, and get laid. So, I mean, that's kind of the point.
And for me, it's more of a trying to protect from having too much project creep versus
those builds
what I like or don't like, because at the end of the day, you're the customer.
Well, a guy comes in and he's like, I want to do this, and then maybe sometimes if it's something that takes time to build or get in line to do, then 2 months later he's like sitting on the shitter and sees a magazine with a let's just say a flush mount windshield or something. He's like, now I want this. Well, we've already started here, and then we have to back up or order parts or whatever we have to do. So if you get too involved, then it could string out the build for years.
It's project creep, and so that's why I don't mind doing the custom stuff, but I just trying to protect us from having too much of that. At least not every truck that's in the shop is going to have that issue.
So I've seen this truck before at the truck gathering. Mm-hmm. Have we seen any other trucks?
Not that are in here.
No,
but we're planning on bringing the green one this year. I don't know if I'll bring it or if the owner will bring it, but his son went last year. He had a dually out there, and so maybe him and his son want to take it, or if he's busy, I'll see if we can take it with us. But I plan on Saturday bringing the blue truck and the green truck.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What, as far as shows go, what's your favorite show you've been to post up for Modern C10?
Of course, the truck gathering is my favorite. Actually, I've got to say,
shows?
I've got to say, Dino's was my favorite.
What made you like that one? I haven't been.
I'll tell you. Here's what I liked about it. First off, that almost my entire crew went. Not everybody did. We left a couple guys here, but my whole crew went. And I think that for us to spend, was it 5 days total, 6 days?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was 5 or 6 days that we spent riding in a truck, staying in the same hotel room, just living with each other the whole time. And that there was no drama. It was nothing but a good time. I mean, there was no bickering, no fighting, no can't decide what we want to eat for dinner. There was just none of that. And it was probably the best time I've had in a long time, just hanging out with everybody from the shop and us just going. And then when we got there, everything was just so organized and just boom, you go here, boom, you go here, and everything was just perfect. And then I felt like it was the first time that I had a crew with me that just was able to handle stuff, you know, like them unloading the trailer, getting stuff set up. Like, they did not install this light though, by the way.
You can leave it off. You can just turn it off, put it on the ground. We got enough light.
Okay.
It's all good.
Well, and then Waxahachie was like that too. They asked him to go down to, I guess they do like the town square, and what is it, top 80? Or
50 maybe?
50?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did all them trucks, and they, you know, and it's like, hey, boss, go do that. Show your truck off, man. We'll shut the trailer down. We'll do everything. So
I mean, that was cool, but I was still stressed at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was still like, man, I don't know how they're going to be able to handle all this without me being there. But so I kind of earned y'all kind of earned my trust at that show. Yeah, y'all kind of earned my trust at that show. And then we went to the Dino show, and man, it was just such a sigh of relief that I could actually just kick back and enjoy the show for once. So most of it was personal reasons is why I enjoyed that show so much more. But also what I liked was the way that they organized the vendors. I thought that was, that's the first time I've ever seen that. So they put, you know, all the chassis builders on one row, all the wheel guides on one row, all the all the custom builders were on one row.
And that might have been just because they just came from SEMA. So a lot of the same displays and a lot of the same guys were coming from SEMA, and they were either, some of them were even going and staying to something in Scottsdale, or the next following week or something. There
might have been an auction or something.
Yeah, but they were doing something else. But these guys would come in, and just like he's saying, you know, if you were to come in and you were wanting to, there were guys there that were doing that. There were rich old men on golf carts with little clipboards, and they were like, well, I need a chassis, so we're going to go to this section, or we need wheels. And I knew it was almost like you knew exactly where you go. Kind of mapped out like SEMA is. You know, you go over here for this, you go over here for that. And that's my favorite was Dino's too. But again, there was a lot of big wheels and bag trucks there.
I like the K10s. Y'all don't like lifted? You were just complaining you don't like lifted trucks?
If it's tasteful.
I'm talking about all the lifted newer trucks with the big wheels.
So I like a K10.
And part of me might be just a little bit of a hater because I don't have one.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I would also think that, man, you would have to have some kind of money to just, because, you know, taking off down the highway with, you know, chrome arms and chrome drive shaft and all that, something's going to pick up and hit that. And you just have to be that guy, and I'm not that guy.
I like lifted trucks. I don't like the new stuff. Like if you were to take a square body and lift it and put some decent tires and wheels on it, like the long bed 69 we're building, I like that truck.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't like with I don't even know what size tires and wheels they're putting on them. What do y'all call them? The bro dozers?
The bro dozers.
That kind of shit, I don't like that. I don't know if that's the official name for it, but I'm not a fan of that.
What's the worst thing you've seen on trucks, just in general? But let's start with classic trucks. Worst thing you've seen that for some reason everyone wets their pants over.
On a classic truck?
Yeah, not just specifically, you know, classic trucks, OBS,
cowl induction hoods.
Really?
And the little spoilers that go on top of the tailgates that make them look like they're NAS trucks or something, NASCARs.
That's
like
it?
Road course car.
Yeah, the little spoilers they put on the back of the tailgates.
Yeah.
And then the big and they were cool when I was a kid. In the 90s, everybody wanted a 3-inch cowl, but I mean, I'm over the cowl.
All the trucks that are running some of the courses, what's that guy's name that's running?
Level 7. Who are you talking about?
You guys are calling people out. Yeah, I know exactly what he's saying, but I'm not saying shit.
But he's got, you know, chin splitter, and he's got the spoiler, but he actually road coursing that. stuff.
I'm not sure on the truck. I've seen a Camaro from Dusel that I don't know how to say the name of that shop, but it's absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I guess it works. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but have you seen the
can't remember
Camaro
the
I'm
bit.
talking about? That's got all the shit on it.
No.
It's got to weigh another 800 to 1,000 pounds with all that stuff on it.
I
but-
don't. At some point, I'm sure it's not that functional. I mean, I'm sure you're not putting that on there to serve a purpose other than
Yeah.
look at me.
I don't know that I've seen anything on the classic trucks that have just been like, what are you doing? Besides the very few square bodies I've seen that
Wheels
are
with no
docked.
lip.
They like hating on my truck.
They hate your wheels.
They hate them. It's
I hear
because there's
from
no lip
Sergio.
on it, man. I can't do nothing.
They
But
look good.
I could change the.
I mean,
I
I'd
could change the
rather
track width
have
on
these
it.
wheels than some big billet wheels.
So I would say probably just the few I've seen of the donked square bodies. I think that's ridiculous. But on the classic trucks, I haven't seen too much that just irks me. Oh, there's one. All of the homemade tonneau covers. How about that?
Yeah.
When you see the plywood with
Yeah.
like some vinyl from Home Depot that's just wrapped and stapled.
And their staples are all out of order and nothing.
I saw.
They didn't even space their staples.
I've
3
seen
inches
one at.
apart.
I shit you
can
not.
do that though.
What kind of craftsman is
I have
that?
seen a square body, and I'm sure I've got a picture of it in my phone. It was at Lowe's many years ago, but what they had did is they had cut out the hood and screwed in the like floor vents for an air conditioner on a trailer house. Just a little rectangle vents, and they had like riveted them on the
For
hood. And
louvers
cut,
on the
yeah, for cold air or whatever they're thinking. I don't
haven't
know.
seen that.
AutoZone treatment,
Yeah.
Home Depot treatment.
Yeah.
But as far as the newer vehicles, like the newer trucks, the squat and shit has got to stop. That
Yeah, it's not
is
too bad here. It is,
ridiculous, man.
You'll
East
get your
Coast,
ass kicked in
Florida,
Oklahoma
and,
for
like,
that.
They call
Yeah,
it the Cali lean or something.
Yeah.
don't they?
the Cali squat.
Cali
that was
squat.
called.
That was
or-
more some Kentucky, wasn't it? Kentucky
know.
squad or something.
I don't know.
I mean, I sold big wheels and stuff, so that's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fading out. I mean, people are still doing it, just kind of.
How they turn, how they see over the hood, all that. I'm a
Well,
short
the Cali
guy.
squad.
so-
I'm talking about just big wheels in general.
No, I love that.
30-inch
Imagine
billets.
adjusting your headlights. Like you got it squatted, then you got to like turn the headlights down.
All you see is the fucking sky.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. How did you come up with the truck gathering?
I think it was just all of us really wanted to do something in Oklahoma. Mike hit me up and was like, heard you wanted to do a show, and that's where it pretty much all began. I think Mike came up with the name. And then Josh don't say much, so he's just behind the scenes, and Mike talks a lot, and he's got a big following, and I think that helped a lot with making it happen first year in Norman, and then you came along, and it's growing bigger and bigger. Mickey's been there since day one.
Yeah.
Talk about
He's
the
blowing up.
members.
Hope he just don't forget about us when he's sitting in Riddler, like, don't get an invite to come hang out,
We'll still bring
Do
it
what,
to the.
Blake?
We'll still bring it to the
Yeah.
truck gathering for sure.
We'll still come hang
you
out.
forget about us,
Yeah, no,
These
we'll
big
always be
Toms,
there. Always.
hanging out with George Spanier and Chip Foose,
I doubt
one
it.
day. What do you mean?
Hopefully,
You don't think it works?
Hopefully,
you don't think it
if
works
I'm
up
ever
there?
in that circle, I'll name drop Mark Parks. I'll be
Just
like,
name
hey,
drop
you guys
truck
know
guys.
Mark? You guys know him? He started the truck
Obviously.
I
gathering.
You
met
don't roll with the
I met
finest
Chip. Well, I got his
circles.
autograph
Like,
at
I met
the
Mark
US
Parks
Mac
one
show,
time.
and his car was.
And Mark makes these hats right here for me.
Yeah, I make these hats. You don't think you're up to par on Chip stuff?
Well, probably not. I don't. It's something that Chip Foose said whenever.
Overall quality, I mean.
No, I don't think so. He's
You don't think?
he's on a level of his own.
Well,
but,
man, it's-
but I'll say, hang
But
on,
you're close.
hear
I
this
would
though.
think you're close.
Listen to this. I remember a quote from Chip Foose when I was in high school, and it said, "You're only as good as your customers allow you to be," and that's always stuck with me. And so I got to remember what my customer base is, what they'll allow us to do, and that takes a long time to build the customer base he has. I mean, he's a talented guy. Don't get me wrong. He could do a lot with a damn file and a piece of sheet metal, but I don't know that.
It's a name thing.
I don't know that I have
It's
the
a name
customer
thing.
base
It's
But,
that
I
he
mean,
has.
his
Credit.
work,
It's
if
credit.
if you look at his work, I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen his stuff up close. I mean,
Yeah, me
it's-
too. Yeah, no, and it's.
If you look at that green truck, you look under hood, I mean, that looks. You know, I see stuff like that. I just remember Troy's stuff from Rad Rods,
Yeah.
like the chicane. Like, he was like the the first guy that was kind of doing all that inside.
All the panel covers and hiding everything under him.
And like that's, I mean, I really like Troy Trepannier's stuff, and then it started Chip. But when I see that, I mean, I always go back to Troy. I don't know if you remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
Young,
I've never met Troy, but I've followed his work for years, and those guys are phenomenal. I don't know how he's found so many craftsmen to work under the same roof as long as he has, but they're talented.
Yeah. But when I see that, I mean, man, it looks great. I mean, I didn't really go through it and see like anything that's.
Well, currently, I don't think that we've reached our peak. It's just going to depend on what our customers will allow. You know what I mean? If I get a guy that just comes in with an open checkbook, and who knows what we are capable of doing, but I don't know that we're.
I was getting at.
We're not at that part yet, but hey, shout out to anybody that wants to try us out.
All it takes is that one guy, and that's all it took for all these guys. I mean, because Chip was with Boyd. And that's how he got his. That's how he got his start, and that's all it takes is just one customer or one of these trucks for somebody to say, "Shit, I want that." Or
I did have an opportunity like that before in the drag racing stuff. So, what happened was I sold my race car. I was at the PRI show in Indianapolis, and a guy bought my race car, and then another guy that's actually local here come up and approached me about buying it, and I was like, man, I already kind of committed it to this other guy. Like we've already got a deal working, and he offered me another $50,000 on top of what that guy gave me, and I was like, man, I can't do that. I said, but
$50,000 to come on.
I said, I'll tell you what I could do. I could build you one better than that one, because I built that car when I was 24 years old, And so he was like, you can build something better now. I was like, oh yeah. So he basically was trying to protect his assets from an ugly divorce. I don't know, something. And he says, well, basically, here's the story. You're building yourself a new car after you sold that one. And pretty much, it's open checkbook. Whatever you want to do, build it like you would. And then I didn't see this guy for 3 years. All I got from him was money. Like, he paid me, and that was it.
The perfect customer.
The only thing he wanted is this guy, all of his cars are red. And he said, and I told him, I said, that's the thing, is I'm not painting it red. And he goes, well, put me some red in there. And so we ended up painting the car, and it was two-tone blue, actually this color blue, because I actually ran some test panels on that car before we built this one. It was this color blue and a charcoal gray, and it had a red pinstripe down it. And this guy hadn't seen the car finished, okay? So we showed up to the PRI show in Indianapolis. It was maybe 3 years after that or whatever. And this car, well, it was almost $500,000. I think it was around $475,000 or so when we got done, which you got to think this was 8 or 9 years ago. So that was a ton of money.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, it's a lot of money now, but back then it was really a ton of money. But we showed up, and he hadn't seen it, and he sent his driver down here with the big, those $400,000 toter homes I'm telling you about, with the elevator, and it top loads of
transport
to pick it up. And I remember watching when we rolled that thing out and it started coming down the ramp. I looked down there, and that dude was crying. It's a grown man, 6'4", like guy's guy.
That's awesome.
And I looked down,
crying
and he was
because you made
crying.
it blue?
No, because he'd never seen a car that badass. He was so in love with it. And he was just like, oh my God, like it was nothing what he was expecting.
That's awesome.
So I was like, hell yeah. Well, then we put it in the PRI show, and we're in Vortex Supercharger's booth. And for the 3 or so days we were there was a line waiting the whole time to take pictures with that car.
Check it out, cool.
So that's the only time that I've really had an open checkbook. And then he took the car home, and it's never been seen again. So that's the bad part of the story. It was never raced. It was never shown again that one time at PRI. And so that, I don't know. So it was a perfect customer until he didn't do nothing with the car.
So yeah, to go all the way back and answer the question, I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
As far as the quality and all that stuff. There's some things here that a lot of these guys in the fab shop and in the metal shop are doing that. And I've been around cars my whole life, and that I've never seen some of the shit that they're pulling out of here, man. There's some talent in this building when they come in Monday morning. And I mean, it's, It's pretty impressive.
We got a good crew. Just to go back to what he was talking about earlier, like that's one thing we're pretty fortunate. A little over a year ago, none of these guys worked here, and we completely rebooted the shop with all new guys and one girl. So we got Allison too, and
Carla.
Everybody comes from different backgrounds, but the one thing we all have in common is none of us had an easy path to get here. Like all
That's
of us
true.
have taken beatings for years, and we all grew up poor and in poverty, and we've all made it to the same building, and we all just seem to work together real well. So I'll say that was actually our top accomplishment for our New Year's that we all talked about, was just the crew that we've assembled.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it really is.
awesome.
And again, doing this forever, I've been in many shops, and you always have that one guy, or you always, and I've been that guy. And yeah, he's right when it comes to that. I mean, it's just, you wake up, you look forward to coming here.
Yeah.
And not just because, don't get me wrong, I'm in a candy store right now. There's not a Kia soul in this building. And so that was my dream. I come from Collision, and I can only paint on so many Saturns.
Yeah.
And then this is just when you come here, and then you get all these people together, and
Y'all are all in a boat, and everyone's rowing the same direction.
it seems to be, yes. No, there's no tension. It's
One of the worst ways I've ever. It's like
I've been in shops like that.
it's just no one wants to help each other, and if they do, it's like, well, what's in it for me kind of thing, instead of just like overall growth and like growing a brand, or like making a brand recognized as being like one you would a good reputation.
And all it takes is one to ruin that shit.
I know. I found my favorite two favorite sayings is like, the reputation is the one thing that beats you into a room and it stays there after you're gone. And I tell that to my wife all the
That's
time.
nice.
I've never heard that before.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
The reason I even bring that up is because my wife will be like, so-and-so asked me to hang out, and that was 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to. I'm like, you need to stick to it, because you don't want to be known as the friend who bails last minute, because I hear you say this person bailed on you, and you get so upset about it.
Yep.
And so like that, I'm just like, reputation is everything. And me and him have talks about this, like with a truck gathering, like it matter. If I'm a part of it, like this might be ego talking, or I don't know what it is, but I pride myself on not being on losing teams. And like, if I'm on it, I will do everything I can to make all of us look as good as I want to look.
I think that's us too. I feel like that's us. I feel like that's us.
I think it's a good way to be. I can't say that for everyone else in this other industry that I'm a part of, but like, everyone's figured out how useful AI is to. True. That's one thing you guys will never have taken from you for AI becoming whatever it is. It might be able to take over the AutoCAD stuff, or like whatever is.
It might make our jobs easier.
It makes your job easier, but there's not going to be an app to build a C10 frame that's the absolute lightest and cheapest but strongest. It'll never be able to do that, because you got to have someone who's a craftsman or knows a trade to do it. I do video production. My job's gone in 18 months. Give it another little bit and they'll be like, this OEM 2028 model needs to be rolling down the I-40 under the scissor tail bridge or whatever, and it's going to pop that out. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's not going to be able to put on truck shows, though, and that's also neat. So I was going to ask you, so I went to the Landers show, their first truck gathering, and I was there for like an hour. I wasn't a part of it in any way, but he wanted me to come check it out and just get some shots for a possible year 2. I'll tell you I want you to tell your perspective of it. I already know yours, but even more entertaining if it's not the most flattering, but what was your like perception or like your experience at the first one at Landers?
Dude, that's hard to answer that honestly, because I was so stressed out.
Well, then not good.
The whole time.
Then not good.
But it wasn't 100% anything that y'all did. So the very first chassis we built, I thought I had it nailed. And I typically, when I build chassis for race cars, I have the structure of the car sitting on the table and I'm building it as I go. But on the C10 deal, I did it all off of dimensions and measurements, and then designed it all in 3D and then built it. And we kind of decided to go to that show is really last minute in a sense that we wasn't prepared. Not like we waited until the day before, but like for all the things we wanted to do, we didn't have enough time to make it. So I had that chassis done and I went to put the body on it about 2 days before that show. So I'm already hustling like nobody's business to make this happen. And then the body didn't go on. And I had made a big mistake on one of the two of the main rails of the chassis. And I didn't really have time to start over, but I pulled off a good one. I mean, I couldn't have lucked out the way that it happened. I was able to cut the bar out without changing anything else, grind it back, put it all back together. But I probably worked 24 to 30 hours somewhere, and there was like a day and a half straight through to fix it before I went to that show. But I ended up making it, and the truck was there. It was the one on Projects. It was all a black body. Yep. And then when we got there, just everything was just last minute. I mean, I was not prepared. I'd never done a show before, so I didn't know what to do or what to expect. And, everything that could have gone wrong had already gone wrong that week. And then when we got there, I just remember being so pissed off about the wind. Like I couldn't hear, Mark would come up to my table and be talking to me and I can't hear anything he's saying because the wind was so crazy. And people were trying to talk to me and I don't talk that loud to begin with, so I'm told. So I'm trying to conduct business, and it was just so windy that I just couldn't. And so I just remember being so frustrated. But the weeks after that, seeing how kind of how we were taken at the show, you know what I mean? That was nice to see. Like I felt like
I didn't at all get this impression that
really?
It was like this when I went. Yeah, because I can tell you I have shots of y'all's deal and everything, and I was like, damn, like these guys.
I must have been hiding it pretty well, but I was
you do
a disaster inside, man.
That's a good thing. I get anxious over little stuff, and big stuff doesn't seem to bother me all that much. My buddy was driving a side by side and like hit a guy in a 3-wheeler head on at the dunes, and like I was like, oh no, everything's gonna be fine. But if like I'm late on a bill, I'm like, oh God, what is happening?
Same way.
Cops are coming to get you.
Yeah, Mark, what was your perspective on your first truck gathering at Landers?
Man, it was a long. No, I didn't wake up. I was already up. So me and Josh were there trying to set up. We were setting up, and then the lights went off at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And so we were trying to set up the booth, the merch booth, and then I think it came around 7 o'clock, and then the people started showing up. All the vendors started showing up, 6 or 7. So I just took off. Josh was by himself. And I'm trying to get everybody lined out where they need to go, and then get all the C10 Oklahoma guys lined out to start parking people. We'll get everybody at Red Robin, because we can't have people blocking up, what was that, Highway 9 and whatever that road is.
At Noble Parkway right in there.
So we had to have everybody meet at the, I think Travis had the mic or the walkie-talkie. So everybody go to Red Robin, have everybody go to Red Robin, and then we'll bring in 10 or 15 or whatever so to come. And the C10 of Oklahoma guys are going to start parking, because we only had like 550 spots, and that's about what we sold pre-registered. So we had to make sure everybody was in their dedicated spot. Now, everybody had to be in their spot because we were probably not going to have enough room. But anyways, that started going good, and then we got finally down to cars started not trickling in, so we had a lot more spots. But then spectators was like, dealership was like, well, one vendor wouldn't listen, wouldn't move. Dealership's like, you need to move these guys here. I won't put his name out there, but he didn't listen 3 times. So then the spectator parking, and they're like, it's a cluster. It was like, man, they were blocking people in, parking all down the highway, access road. So we had to handle that. I had to walk. I had to man the main entrance while Mike was at the spectator, and I was just telling people, you got to go here or here with the dealership. And I probably spent 2 hours doing that.
Yeah, I was there for like
It was a little bit of cluster, but I think overall.
Did you see any of that?
I did notice. I could sense. So when I showed up for, like I said, an hour or two, me and my wife, and I remember walking up to you and you were like, "Hi, bye." Like you were just like he was on his way. And there were too many, which is why I like where we're at now at the Guthrie Cottonwood Flats. But like there were too many entry points into Landers,
and not enough parking. I mean, we weren't expecting to be
that big that first time.
Yeah, spectator parking we had in. Well, luckily the dealership was low on inventory, so we had majority of the lot, but the spectator park. I mean, they were parking down like on the access road to get on I-35 all the way into the trailer parks over there. And people were, just parking and just free will. They're just like blocking people. People can't leave because they're blocked in. Just everybody blocked in. And it's just like, man. But it kind of calmed down, and then after that, I think it went. And most people don't see that, so they even probably realize what the dealership was happy. Everybody's happy, seemed like, other than the guys on the hill the windmill was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Thought it was going to fall over.
I remember that. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll say this about the truck gathering guys. Even at that first show, did you do any of the media stuff out there, or was that just before Blake? Like there was a little remote control car and stuff y'all had out there?
That was Blake.
Okay, so the media stuff that followed that as a vendor, that's something that we've never gotten at any other show. Even last year at Guthrie, or the year before we did, you had somebody out there doing like some interviews and stuff like that. And then the promoting that you guys do for the vendors, I haven't seen that from any other show out there. So I'll say as a vendor, like I feel like I'm, taken care of as far as that goes. And I didn't realize that at that first event, you know what I mean? At the first, the one at Landers that y'all are talking about. But the weeks following that, when I started seeing all the videos coming out and stuff, it made me feel a lot better about how that show went. So
While we're talking about that a little bit, the all of the entries, how y'all do the chat GTP little pictures of them in front of the with the truck gathering and all that. Man, as somebody, if I was just a spectator and had my truck coming in, that stuff's pretty cool. Yeah. I think that's pretty neat.
I do want to say, disclaimer, because I know Mike's going to hear this. I think it's rad, and I think it's super useful. The Chat GPT thing, though, is like so played out, and it only has one. No one gets away from like what it suggests.
Right.
And it's always kind of like reddish, yellow theme, and like it's all, the text isn't perfect. And I'm like you about measurements, like the tech, it better be lined up, and it's just kind of like and I can't stand that part. The entries, the people that are like, my truck's featured on this thing, like
I'm sure
cool.
They would love that. I'm sure
Mike kills it at that. And so stuff like this, like I wish I could get every single truck, every single owner talking about every single thing that they put on it, but like it's hard to it's hard to get to all of them, and there's like a ton. Like I'm super pumped on the class of trucks that show up. Like I don't know if it was your goal to do this, but it's like I'm proud of it being like the everyman's kind of truck show.
Oh no, I spent a conversation with the guy last year, probably 35 minutes about how carburetors rule the world and this fuel injection and stuff. And I mean, but that's where he was from, and I thought that was cool. And it's like, man, you get all walks of life. It's like, I thought that was pretty neat. I do get that. And then you've got the guys that, it's some of the stuff that, and I'm sure some of the stuff that I put on my trucks, people think is just corny. But, some of the way that people are so proud of some of the stuff that they do to their trucks, that's the part I like.
This was like God teed this up for me. In one whole day, I asked a bunch of people, I said, what's the worst and what's the best thing you can do to a classic truck? And I didn't tell them to say this just came off the cuff. And the fact that I tried to cover every truck coming in and out of that entry point, like I caught it on camera. So like these things happen probably 6 hours apart from each other. I asked one guy, I go, what's the worst thing you can put on a square body? And he goes, the color yellow. And then later that day, another guy, I go, what's the best looking truck you've seen here? He goes, there's a yellow C10 over there with a camper shell on it. And I just want it so bad. And it was so, I couldn't have planned that any better. And I remember hearing those, so like it might have been a day or two apart. And so as soon as I heard that second guy the one guy took a dump on the yellow C10,
Yeah.
and then the other guy was worshiping it. And I'm like, okay, that's somewhere. I need to find that, and so we use it for some of the marketing.
You've got to stay neutral on a lot of that stuff. I've had guys come in and, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? And it's like, sir, I think it's not my truck.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. This is something that
My tile
we
guy did that.
figured out at Dino's that I hadn't really ever realized before. But it's probably what makes the truck world like really unique. And so whenever I hear that United by Trucks thing, it kind of has another meaning to me now. But sitting out at Dino's, and I got to calm down my mind a little bit because my guys were handling so much. So I actually got to take in the show a little bit. And the walks of life that are out there is crazy. I mean, you can be a straight up cholo Mexican dude with with your truck, and you can be a businessman with the collared polo, and you can be just a mechanic. Like the different walks of life out there that are literally united by the trucks.
Yep.
That to me is pretty unique. You don't see that, at least I haven't seen it in the racing industry or any other industry the way it is with trucks. But
that's
and
true.
everybody's just getting along. It's like, man, that guy looks like he could run a mob somewhere or a cartel, and this guy looks like he just climbed out of the freaking mountains in Virginia. And yeah, this guy's a banker, and they all have badass trucks, and they all respect what each other has, even though they're completely different backgrounds, So that's one thing that I've really noticed in the truck industry. That's pretty unique.
Maybe you guys can answer this question for me, and it comes up on our social media. Why do you think more GMs show up more than Dodge or Ford? Because it's not in any part of our marketing that says we are a GM show. That is just what they see.
It's location where you're at, I would think so. I mean, it's central Oklahoma for that. I would think, man, we're mainly Chevy guys.
I would say because who wants a Dodge truck?
Well, I mean, yeah, not to knock anything down, but I mean, yeah, that's a lot of what it is. Is I think that it's just where we're low. It's just the general location. Everybody around here is, and you can find that even in Oklahoma, as far as like you grew up with the Cowboys or you grew up with the Sooners, and you don't switch sides. Yeah. And it's kind of the same thing right there. And I think that there's just a lot more of us GM guys.
I think it's a little bit different. I think a lot of it is the reason that I picked the C10 industry is because it's like you can have a vehicle that doesn't look that great, and then aftermarket hits it, and it can turn into your own badass little hot rod. And so what I think is that the industry supports the Chevrolets, not the Dodges. You know what I mean? So you can buy you a $3,500 square body, and you can buy a lowering kit, wheels, a seat. You can buy all this stuff and make it your own, and you're going to have a pretty badass truck. Versus if I don't know anything about Dodge trucks, but if you had a whatever year Dodge, what are you buying for this thing?
You could say that there's more of them, but then that would fall back on because everybody knows around here what to buy.
Yeah, I think the industry also supports the Chevrolets better as far as aftermarket stuff.
It's probably more produced as well. So, I mean, you got GM, which is Chevy and GMC, so you're going to have at least twice the numbers
there you
of
go,
GM trucks.
Because all the Dodge is already rusted to nothing by now. So
Dodge rusted to nothing.
So there's a lot more availability.
There probably wasn't many Dodges made. I mean, you'd have to go through the numbers and see.
They're all in the backyard on blocks.
And this body style is from 73 to 87. So
that's true too.
Or even, you'd say 91 into 3/4 ton.
Yeah, or the Blazers. Yeah.
So that's a long run.
Yep.
You don't see any Jimmys, but they don't bitch.
Yeah, probably wasn't a lot of Jimmys made either, I would think.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more.
No, maybe somebody out there has got some numbers on like.
Yeah.
Seems like the.
Well, that makes me. If I don't want to, I mean, yeah, that kind of. This is my personality. That there's not a lot of Jimmys makes me want one more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Are you talking about like the little S10, the little one?
No, I'm talking about the
like
GMC. Yeah, the GMC's version of the Blazer.
That's kind of when I was a kid.
I don't know why when I think Jimmy, I think like the S10 Blazers, like
everybody
the small ones.
There was a guy up the road and he had a 70, I think it was a 70 or it was 70 El Camino. And then there was a guy like 2 blocks over that had same year, but it was a GMC Sprint. And I'd never heard of one in my life. And so I was like, I like the Sprint way more than I like the El Camino.
I don't
Just
know
because
that
there's
I've
El Caminos everywhere.
Right, which we allow El Caminos at the truck gathering, but I like El Caminos too. I think those are rad.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have a hard time picking that between a K10 or a Jimmy or like, yeah, that'd be really hard if someone was like, I'll give you you can only have one of these 3. I don't know that I'd be able to pick. I just see you roll.
I've got mine. But
I've never seen an El Camino
saying.
I liked.
Really?
I've never seen one I liked.
Yeah, I like the Ford the Ford Rangers, the lifts. I like everything lifted. My brother just got a 1990. Is that a 91 or a 93? It's a single cab Silverado Z71. Put a 4-inch lift on it, Pro Comp wheels, 35-inch. I don't even know what kind of tires. Anyway, I love the way this thing looks. Got 80,000 original miles on it, and his truck specifically, you don't see too many like that. It's OBS. It's not square body, but we don't have a lot of those that come to our show. It's just happens to be, like I said, just GM based trucks.
There's a lot.
And like, what do you think the most obscure one is? And you've been, so I mean, you go and look around at other stuff. I mean, what's the most obscure truck you think that we have at our? I have one in mind, but you go.
I guess I would have to know what the definition of obscure is.
Not mainstream of like, what's that green one that had the pipes out the back and it sounded mean. It was a pickup, but it was cab front end.
It was like Army green?
No, this was flashy green. This was really bright. God,
the one that sticks out to me, there was a Dodge there. It was a 60s Dodge.
D100 or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it had the patterns that were painted on the roof, the lowrider patterns on the roof. That stuff catches my eye just because I like lowriders and I'm a painter. But that one stuck out to me. That it was orange.
I mean, it'd be the Dodges, be the ones that are obscure.
Yeah,
and very rare.
they're so ugly. They're cool looking.
Yeah, some of them are cool.
I think some of them. I like some of them. It's just the lines, like this Ford behind us. I mean, it's got some cool lines, but about the same era of the Dodges. I think the lines are better.
Yeah,
it's just. And that's what guys like, the way the lines appeal to you, and I think that's why they go to that. But that was the one that stuck out to me. It was orange. It sat on the same row.
Older Dodge trucks probably more obscure than anything.
Even the mini trucks.
Yeah, but we don't.
I don't remember seeing any mini trucks.
There was a
couple.
There was about 6 there, and we've been catering to more than just like GM. I've learned a lot. Like, I've always been into trucks and horsepower and stuff, and like off-roading's more what I was into. And then he's like, we do classic trucks, and I was like, I don't have any idea about that stuff. I'm slowly learning, but my point with that was just seems like no matter how we market it, the
mini trucks.
Well, the mini trucks. So we started finding more forums and groups and posting in there. But I was talking about the guy who I had to block before the card went out.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if we posted on this group, he would find us in this group. And there's private groups from 10,000 to 100 and something thousand or 300,000. And there this guy is. You remember the one there? Okay. So he came to our November Classic Everything show at the fairgrounds. And Mike and us, we don't have a quote-unquote designated area for these guys to park, because as well as I do, if someone, I'll be there at 8 a.m. Well, if they don't show up till 8:15, 8:30, the person that said they were going to be there at 8:05 is in front. They're on time. They're there. They're going to get preferential treatment because they're on time. They get our full attention as opposed to just last minute, we'll get you in. Well, I think that's what happened with this non-GM truck owner. Was it a Ford? Ford. It was a Ford guy. And he wrote, it was like he was Rosa Parks, and he thought he was on the back of the bus, and he was just getting mistreated because he was a Ford guy, and we hate Ford through and through. And at no point of any of them, because I do it all, no point of any of the marketing were we like, fuck Ford. GMs only. You know, that's just all they see. And I know if it's there, it's on camera. And I use every bit of that footage, whether it be Ford, Dodge, Nissan, Toyota, you know.
Ford owners got that victim mentality.
Hey,
Oh, man.
I will say, so we have what's called a Ford tax at my shop, and we'll work on your Ford, but it costs a little extra, and that's why, because that's what they're like. Actually, we got one Ford we're working on right now. He's actually been a really good customer. We've had zero issues whatsoever with him. But in the past, on the race cars, the Ford guys, they're difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'd always have to charge them a little bit more, and we called it a Ford tax.
This guy would bird dog every post, and he'd be like, they don't allow Fords, and like, good luck if you're in anything but a GM. And I just finally, like, I don't believe he's swaying the pendulum one way or the other, but I was tired of reading it after every post. So you're blocked, dude.
I swear I have that customer. I think I built him a race car.
I treat our page like North Korea. If I don't like what you're saying, like, you're out of here.
I haven't even built race cars in 5 years, and this guy's still trolling us.
Oh my God. Thing you want to add about the truck gathering this year? Or Mickey will be there with Modern C10, but we've got some cool stuff. I know we're not doing
a bunch of vendors, so
we got Vanata Fab, Modern C10, obviously. We're gonna have some good food vendors. We're gonna have the Drunken Goat.
Coit's gonna be there?
Coits will be there.
Coits will be there. So
I can't forget Coits.
I'm getting me a gallon of tea, dude.
Dude, I've almost overdosed on chili dogs just at that event.
Is that the hot dog place?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That was good.
And this time we get to have.
Or sorry, not tea, root beer. Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give me a gallon
root
of root
beer.
beer.
There you go.
Why did I say tea?
We have another soda guy there too, Capital Soda. First Capital Soda, he does his own soft drinks, so he'll have root beer, and I'm sure
cool.
9 different root beers or whatever. But I was gonna say something about. We're gonna have the ability to sell alcohol this time around, so people can sip and chill and walk around.
Company selling wine.
Yeah. And so Friday night is the poker run, which starts at 3 p.m. Then Friday night cruise, which you did the cruise last year?
Yeah.
So you know how some people might have gone a little toward the temple, that Masonic temple in the middle of town. It's like the oldest thing there.
I don't know. I got lost.
So this time we're gonna have a map. That was my bad. I was like, y'all will figure it out when you get out there. And most everyone just kind of followed each other. But this time we have a designated map, and it goes up and down the main streets of Guthrie downtown. And the square that goes around the Masonic temple is going to be perfect. People can just pull up. I think there's 200 parking spots. Okay. So people can just line up right there, and there'll just be a giant cruising square around that. The poker run, you can register by 3. And then Friday's the barbecue cook-off. We're going to have one of the vendors I'm pumped about is Jay's Crawler Rentals. So this dude sets up an obstacle course, and like he's got a bunch of square body like K5 Blazers, and they just do all these obstacles like rock crawlers, 10 scalers.
Oh yeah.
I'm super into RCs, so we talk about that another hour.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have a couple of rock crawls. Actually, my daughter has a boat. She likes to fish with her remote control boat.
Really? That's funny. That's awesome.
It's got a little rig on the back of it where you can, you run out there and drop the bait or whatever and
That's
reel
funny.
it back in with a boat.
And then Saturday we have the raffle read and the barbecue competition.
That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I'm a fat guy. I like to eat.
You gotta eat.
What else? I mean, I think that pretty much covers that. There's a lot. The vendors are continuously incoming. I think we have vendors up until yesterday asking if they could be a part of it.
Yeah, there's still a couple.
C10 Nationals, Classic Truck National.
Classic Truck Nationals, Slosh Tubs is coming.
Slosh Tubs.
Cool.
Big Tex Trailer.
Yeah, Big Tex Trailer. I think we probably have more vendors this year than we have had, right? Probably.
Yeah, it's like almost 50.
Almost 50 vendors. So.
And there's all the room. That's what I liked about it. Is
Yeah.
I'd never been to Guthrie before, and when we drove down in there, I was like, you know what? This downtown's beautiful.
Yeah.
That little park is beautiful. It was just a good place.
Yeah.
Shade, little breeze through there.
I will take credit. I got him to come to Guthrie. I was like,
I like that place.
You need to not have it at that dealership again and come to Guthrie because there's a spot there. And we looked at Mineral Wells Park, and then we looked at the Cottonwood Flats, and we were going to do the drive-in possibly too. But I think we got super lucky. It's like it fits the build, the years they were built in.
Yeah, finding a venue is before Guthrie was. I mean, nobody responds ever from Eldon Line Park.
I remember you telling me like Norman just didn't want to. They didn't want to communicate.
Well,
with
I mean,
you.
the dealership guys, I knew all them, so they helped with the city.
Like the parks in Norman and stuff.
Yeah, parks in Norman were not, and they still, this year for the other show, I was trying to get at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds, and I still haven't got a response for that. So, and we're still working on figuring out for the gathering in the fall where we're going to do it, which hopefully I'll know in a couple weeks. So, but yeah, luckily we went to Guthrie. Guthrie's great, and I think we're there for ever until they kick us out, I guess.
No, I think it works good. I think it works good because this will be the second year that we have it around the same week as the 89er Day celebration. And so they've kind of opened their arms to the idea of us coming around. And I mean, I would argue that we did it and had a successful go at it without that happening. And so I would say that we're not necessarily resting on their coattails because they have quite the event too. And we've proven that we can do it without having another event at the same time.
No, but that's just convenient
it's
for everybody.
Super, yeah.
You got the same crowds.
Yep.
They can.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that they probably enjoy checking stuff like that out. We're free to enter. The only thing you have to do is register. If you want to vend or set up a truck, it's pre-registration right now. But it's free to walk in, free to park. And if you want to take a little bit of a bridge walk, I mean, it's close. My fat ass would walk over there, and I hate walking.
I'd say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Swap meet, too.
Yep.
Yeah, swap meet. I forgot about the swap meet.
Oh, I got in so much trouble last year at the swap meet. I spent so much money.
No, he bought stuff.
My son did. Xander sold about $2,800 worth. So I was jealous of him because he sold more than we did.
I bought a
We're
bunch of
trying to
stupid
entice people
Tonka
to get
toys.
it. Tonka toys?
Yeah, I got a whole room full of toys, and I went off.
That's
Remember,
funny.
I got like 4 or
I'm
5.
waiting on the phone call from Melissa saying, hey,
Stop taking him to shows.
Trip can't go this time.
He'd made me sit when we went to Dino's, we all get breaks and stuff for, hey, we've come all the way down here. We're going to, enjoy the show for a minute and go check out stuff. And I'd always come on back with just bags full of shit. And he's like, your wife is not going to let you come with me no more. Because I'm a sucker, man. I buy it all. I'm the die-cast guy, man. I buy all those toy trucks. And then, I buy all the shirts. I'm all about it.
He is too.
Yeah, I'm not. I was on a kick there for diecast, but now I'm kind of.
Man, you know what I'm on now, and it has nothing to do with this, has nothing to do with vehicles or nothing. I'm like falling back in love with the 80s G.I. Joes when I was a kid that I played with. I'm buying the shit out of them.
Expensive.
Yeah, very.
I bought and sold a lot of stuff on eBay.
Really? Well, maybe we need to do some swapping and shit. I got a bunch of old red light.
It's hard to find old toys, but me and my buddy do come across them, so we just throw them on eBay. So some of that stuff is
That's funny.
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it really is. You'd be surprised, and it's always because it's some idiot like me. It's like, what do you want? Take my money. I gotta have it. I remember that when I was a kid. My stepdad took it away from me and threw it down the stairs or something because I kicked the cat or some shit. You never know.
Well, are you down to show me some of the trucks you're here working on?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
What do you wanna see?
thanks for letting us come out, and we'll break it down, and then we'll.
Okay.
We got some new merch coming. Got some hats.
I noticed that. I hadn't seen those
And we'll
yet.
have, this is a one-off, but I think we're going to do some crew necks, hoodies, work shirts, a bunch of different hats. And then they'll be ready for pre-order here. Hopefully this next week. We'll see. So stay tuned.
Sweet. Appreciate it. All right.